You ever walk into a room where every eye tells you that you don't belong, and you can almost taste their contempt, like perfume gone sour, like rotten fruit at a garden party everyone else seems to enjoy? That was me the moment I stepped inside the Thornhill mansion. Let me set the scene. Grand marble floors, chandeliers dripping with light, air thick with the kind of money you can feel but can't ever really touch. The crowd was all silk, diamonds, shiny shoes, cold smiles. I wore a gray linen dress that used to be pretty and a cardigan faded green by time. Flat shoes, quiet steps. I could feel their stares burning through me, not a welcome in the bunch. Some yellow-tied man laughed, called me the maid, and a young woman with red lips and an even sharper tongue whispered about failed lovers and gold diggers to her friend, loud enough for it to sting. But I didn't flinch. I gripped my old bag a little tighter, kept my mouth shut. They all figured I was nobody, a stranger, a shadow, a blip on their day of inheritance. What none of them knew, what none of them cared to ask, was that I was Logan Thornhill's legal wife. Yeah, that's right. The very man they were all here to squabble over. And today's will reading wasn't just some formality. It was a trap, a test, and they didn't even realize they were the ones being measured. So I stood in the back, invisible as dust, taking in every word, every smirk, every fake smile. The way Clara Simmons, TikTok queen in a diamond choker, snapped my photo for her followers, how Elise Carter snuck a Sharpie out of her purse and labeled me a charity case on a napkin, and how Trevor Monroe cackled and stuck another napkin to my cardigan, will work for inheritance. Each little act was a slice, a reminder of how quick folks are to tear you down when they think you're powerless, and still, I didn't move. I let them laugh, let their words bounce off my silence. In a room full of noise, silence is power. I watched as their posts about me went viral. Thornhill trash, charity mascot. My face spreading across the internet before I'd even had a chance to speak. Gerald Hayes, all bravado and cheap aftershave, stood in front of me and declared for the world, "People like you don't have the right to stand here." Patricia, his wife, draped in emeralds, inspected my dress, my skin, my very presence, as if deciding if I even counted as a person. "Logan would never associate with someone like you," she spat. All I did was breathe, slow and deep, letting their cruelty wash over me like cold rain. The laughter, the whispers, the social media circus, none of it touched me where it counted. Because I knew something they didn't. This storm was just the wind-up before the sky cracked open. When Arthur Grayson, Logan's lawyer, entered with the will, the room snapped to attention. Every last fake friend, every greedy cousin, every cold-blooded aunt and uncle, all fell silent. He sliced open the wax seal, his movements slow and steady, a ritual. You could have heard a pin drop, then came the reading. No assets, no shares, no estate, no financial interest left to any family member or advisor present. The silence was so sharp, it cut through bone. Then, bang, Grayson dropped the bomb. All of Logan Thornhill's personal and company assets, estimated at over $90 billion, will be transferred to his lawful wife and sole heir, Ivy Walker. That's me. The charity case. The outcast. The punchline. The room erupted in chaos. Clara dropped her phone. Marissa went white as a ghost. Gerald yelled about imposters. Patricia accused me of fakes and lies. They screamed for someone to search my bag. But I didn't move, not an inch. Arthur Grayson produced marriage certificates, wedding photos, bank statements, handwritten letters. Evidence piled high and cold. Then, for good measure, he played a video of my wedding to Logan. Every vow, every smile, every witness on full displayed as the truth settled in. The same people who called for my head could only stare, broken. I took a step forward. The marble was cold beneath my feet, the chandelier casting a soft glow, and for the first time since I'd entered, the room parted for me. My voice didn't rise, but it rang out. I didn't come here for money. I came to see who loved Logan, and who only loved what he had. No one had a word left to throw at me. Then, one last twist. I reached into that old bag and pulled out a remote. Pressed a button. The big screen behind the table flickered to life, and there was Logan, not a memory, not a ghost, but alive, sitting in a gray room somewhere, his eyes sharp as ever. "I've heard everything," he said, his voice cold as stone. Every word of contempt, every look of disdain. Then came the judgment. He named each person who'd mocked me. Preston, Marissa, Clara, Gerald, Patricia, Trevor, and stripped them of every right to his estate, every privilege, every dime. Effective immediately, security walked them out one by one. Some cried, some cursed, some just looked lost, but there was no fight left in any of them. And you know what? That was the real justice. They had to live with what they'd become. No money, no power, no respect. Just the ugly truth echoing in that hollow mansion. Logan, still on the screen, addressed the three people who had shown me kindness: Sarah Ellis, Michael Reed, Anna Brooks, ordinary folks with good hearts who'd stood by me when no one else would. He granted them honorary family status, a lifetime of comfort and dignity, and the right to help run the charities I would soon create in Logan's name. I walked to them, shook their hands, let the warmth and the quiet strength of true decency pass between us. The mansion was still, the crowd thinned, and for the first time, a real sense of peace settled over the place. I walked to the center of the room and met Logan's gaze on the screen. Our connection needed no words, but as the doors creaked open and Logan walked in, alive, solid, his hand found mine, we left together, out of that cold marble hall, out into the sunshine, stepping across the grass with nothing but each other. Logan whispered, "Let's go home." And for the first time in a long time, I really believed I was. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line between power and kindness, between privilege and justice? Have you ever been judged for what you wear, where you're from, or the color of your skin? Tell me what you think. Let's talk about what real dignity and strength look like. Because sometimes the quietest person in the room is the one holding all the power.